Hey there, Hammer fam. Welcome back to HammeredHead. Today we got the 30th anniversary collection Imperial Jumptrooper from the Force Unleashed. Hasbro just revealed the new Imperial Jetpack Trooper in the Vintage collection. That guy looks great. Very different design, but same idea. They're both like airborne, aerial type troopers. This guy looks really cool. I think he's got a fantastic appearance to him. Looks a little goofy up in the card back image, but not too bad. Like the general vibe of him. And then he looks decent in the box itself. We do get that Force Unleashed cheat code, which is great, because otherwise I couldn't beat the game, because it's impossible to play. This is an epic picture here, very much like an artist rendition, but it looks pretty amazing. Imperial Jumptrooper. Equipped with jet backpacks, Imperial Jumptroopers burst through the air in short spurts. Their long-range rail detonators eliminate all enemy targets from any vantage point. As the Emperor extends his iron-fisted rule, Jumptroopers join Imperial forces from Outer Rim planets to more central locations like the Death Star. And goofy pose there too, but the figure looks dope. Species cloned human. Status Imperial Jet Trooper. Weapon of choice rail detonator. Characteristic proficient in hit and run tactics. And these are all winner figures on the bottom too. We'll look at some of these in future reviews for sure. But for now, let's look at this guy. Alright, this guy's a winner. I do have a couple really small complaints about him, and that is that it is pretty tough to get him to hold the blaster with two hands. The articulation is good, but it's just not quite there with the range of motion to get him to get that second hand over to grab the barrel. So that's a little tough, and then we'll look at the head later. But it's just a little like blurry with the paintwork. Again, not a huge deal. It was just the first thing that stood out to me right when I opened him. But overall, I think he looks great. So we do get the Saga Collection style stand instead of a coin. It's an expanded universe stand, which I think is pretty interesting. I think that looks really good. So we always love getting those. And the detail on the figure is phenomenal. Again, it's kind of tough to get it to like show up on camera, but there's something about the paintwork that just feels like blurry or off, especially just like in the face here. I don't really know what it is. I can't place it. But that's just a little different. Again, not a huge deal, because everything else about the figure looks fantastic. The rest of the helmet has a really cool design. It's like a mix of a stormtrooper and a scout trooper. But really good detailing on the paint. He's got this cool little tube coming out, which I like. Even the tube has like this red line painted onto it. Again, kind of hard to see, but it's there. Some good shoulder armor. Nice sculpting on the back. And then like the double thermal detonator thing on his belt looks really cool. A few more pouches. Again, great design even on the legs. The knee armor is similar to the shoulder. And then he does have a lot of weathering on the boots. Looks like he just walked through a puddle of mud. But yeah, again, great design. Really good figure. This would be great to have an army builder of. But just as like a special operator in the Imperial Army, this dude looks fantastic. Articulation in general is actually quite good for a figure of this era. But he's got a nice ball joint head. You don't want to go all the way around, of course, because he's got this tube on. But then he's got ball joint shoulders. They don't go up super far. Dude kind of looks like John McCain. He can't go past 90 degrees there. But it moves smoothly. Same with the elbows, ball joint, a little less than 90 actually. That's part of the reason he can't hold a blaster with two hands. But then swivel wrists too, which is good. Swivel waist and hips. Then ball joint knees that really don't go back very far at all. But he does have them. And ball ankles, which do move very well. So that's great to see. Oi! That's the Force Unleashed cheat code. You're not authorized access to that. Give that back. Pew 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 pew! So that's Imperial Jumptrooper from The Force Unleashed. Whether you like the game or not, again, you gotta love the aesthetic from these things. Trooper looks phenomenal. I really like this figure. The articulation could do with a bit of updating, but again, for a figure this old, it is very high quality. The paint and sculpt work on it is just really phenomenal. So I would definitely recommend picking this guy up. If you prefer the more recent canon versions of the Jetpack Trooper, maybe wait for the vintage collection. It's probably going to be about the same price to get this one. But they both look great, and this is a really good addition to any Imperial army, so I can't recommend them enough. But let me know what you think in the comments. As always, thank you to my Patreon subscribers. Be sure to follow on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Check out the Patreon page, and don't forget, stay hammered.